Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, March 21st, 2019. I'm Keith Tebow. There's still plenty of fallout from last week's recall election. We'll talk about it with the Herald News. Mayor Correa delivered his State of the City address this week. We get local reaction to the vandalism this week at graves and headstones at Fall River's Hebrew Cemetery. And a local state representative inspires women to recognize their potential leadership skills during this Women's History Month. But first, let's discuss the news issues of the week. As I mentioned, we're bringing in Lynn Sullivan, the editor-in-chief at the Herald News, to discuss these issues. Lynn, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good.
Let's get right to it. I was not here last week. Donna Mata filled in amiably during this newscast last week about right after the recall election. Even though the election is over, there's still a lot going on. First and foremost, earlier this week, a local taxpayer group submitted a lawsuit against Mayor Correa, members of the Election Commission, and the city clerk to try to halt the certification of last week's recall election actually for later this week. I know the parties are probably, I believe, even in court right now. Is that correct in terms of hearing this case?
That's what I understood at 2 p.m. I guess the certification of the recall was expected tomorrow, so they wanted to stop that. So, again, crazy situation, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems improbable that the city votes to recall and then reelect a mayor on the same day.
Well, yeah, there's a lot to this lawsuit filed against the city, the mayor, and the election commission and the city clerk. These 10 taxpayers are alleging that they were disenfranchised because of the fact that in the city charter it mentions that if an elected official is recalled, they feel that that individual should not have even been on the ballot or qualified to be reelected, if you will, because there is a section in the charter that says if a candidate or an elected official is recalled, he or she cannot be reappointed to that position for a 2-year period. In this case, literally, it was minutes between the recall and the other election. And, you know, a lot of people have brought this up, Lynn, over the course of this recall election. I don't think anyone has really been given any solid decision on, what happened with this recall and this provision of the charter. So I guess in some respects, we may get some more clarity on this.
Yes. I mean, as often is the case with legal challenges to things, it comes down to the actual specific language and turns of phrase and whatnot, very specific sections and the interpretation of what that means. So we know that Will Flanagan took the city to court the last time there was an election or a recall election, and the judge said no, he could be on the ballot. So the 10 taxpayers are claiming, that since then we had a charter revision and some of the language has been tweaked a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what a judge says, I guess.
Well, I know it's interesting that a lot of times a lot of these incidents in terms of language are not really decided upon until someone takes another party to court. There's been a lot of discussion that if say Paul Coogan or another candidate did get enough votes last week to win the election, the second half of the ballot, that this issue probably would not have come up at all. And I know in terms of Mayor Flanagan back in 2014, the issue may have been only part of the charter, the part of the charter that mentioned that was not clear in terms of who can qualify for the ballot in a recall election. This takes it the next step further in terms of the result of the election. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. And I'm wondering if, today's court appearance will be the end of it. We'll have to wait and see. There may be other challenges going forward, either by the mayor and his camp or the 10 taxpayers, but we'll just have to wait and see. And we ask you to follow FRC Media News and, of course, the Herald News, as we'll have more information as it becomes available from today's court appearance. Also, sort of related, if you will, to last week's election, I believe it was talked about last week that, Mayor Correa, soon after the election, decided to remove school committeeman Paul Coogan and Mark Costa from the Durfee Building Committee. There was a lot of outrage over that. And this week, the school committee met for the first time since the election, and its vice chairman, Mark Costa, is charging the mayor with withholding some issues from the agenda, not only this past Monday, but in past meetings. I guess, Lynn, the way it works is the mayor is the chair of the school committee, and he sets the agenda. Is that correct? So he can decide what's on the agenda at any given meeting. So, I mean, talk a little bit about what Mr. Costa is alleging here.
So I guess what Mr. Costa is saying that the mayor has taken some items off the agenda that he feels the school committee should be discussing in open session. So he used some specific examples of capital improvement projects, and he said, it's not fair to not discuss these very expensive projects that taxpayers really care about, to not discuss them so that all can hear. So then he brought up some specific issues. There was an item, I guess, on the agenda the other night about an air conditioning unit at Durfee, renting an air conditioning unit for Durfee, and the school committee and Mr. Costa are saying, look, this money has already been approved to purchase one of these units, so why are we discussing this? And it sort of did kind of devolve into this kind of strange back and forth. And the only thing I can think is that, the superintendent is saying, like, really, these items should be discussed. And so, I mean, I kind of look at him as sort of the neutral party here, saying these are important items. They really need discussion. Let's get them on the agenda. So it seems like politics is a brutal game, I guess. So I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of back and forth. Absolutely.
And also this week at the city council meeting, there was a motion that is going to be put, I believe, before the ordinance committee eventually, in terms of the mayor's ability to not only appoint but also remove people from boards and commissions similar to the Durfee Building Committee. The city council, I believe, is looking for a little more oversight in that process, sort of like an advise and consent that we see in the U.S. Senate. And I believe that was put forth and will be before the ordinance committee. It just appears that even though it appears that the recall election last week is over, there's still a lot of grumblings and movements from many avenues in terms of what will happen going forward, as the city, as you know, Lynn, I believe in a little more than a month, nomination papers will be available for the November election. So a lot of moving parts still from the election, and the city has received a lot of negative publicity since last week's recall election, but something we'll just continue to follow. We also mentioned the mayor's State of the City address. We'll have more about that a little later on in our program, but it was interesting. I happened to be at the address on Tuesday night, and 3 city council members were not in the room for the address. City Councilor Sean Kadim, Joseph Camara, and Pamela LeBeau, not in the room for the address. What that says, people can speculate, but anyway. One other thing I want to bring up, Lynn, just as we wrap up, sort of a sad day for those of us who like to shop in the region. Today's the last day of the Swansea Mall being open. Is that correct?
Oh, I know. It is kind of there's been an awful lot of walks down memory lane, I think, for people in the past couple weeks. Then we had a story earlier in the week about a gentleman who's planning kind of a last Mallrats party get together. So we'll see what comes of that. But I mean, it is. It's the end of an era, so it's never easy to see something like that.
Well, I'm actually old enough to remember the construction of the Harbor Mall, which was first, and then the Swansea Mall, and the story was, well, the Harbor Mall traffic's being taken away by the Swansea Mall. Then we got the Galleria Mall in Taunton, so it's sort of like a big conglomeration of these openings seem to impact the other malls, and now, unfortunately, all malls are being impacted by not only other shopping areas, but also online shopping. So again, thanks to the Swansea Mall for all its years of service, and definitely will be missed. All right, Lynn, what else is coming up over the next few days?
So we have a big Sunday package on sort of the local reaction to that college admissions scandal, and we're sort of looking at it both from, as a parent, I know it's college applications are stressful, and the kids really, work awfully hard, and it seems unfair that somebody could kind of buy their way in. And so then we also looked at athletes who are trying to get recruited and what that involves. And just to hear that there are some kids that could just take a picture of them on a rowing machine and grab a rowing spot on an elite team seems so unfair, especially in an area like Fall River, So we'll take a look at that. We've got the Lieutenant Governor is in town today at Whirlpool checking out a Youth Works program there. And we got a nice Fall River wonders about whether or not Fall River Celebrates America will ever come back.
Yeah.
Short answer, no.
Probably not, right.
Yeah.
All right, Lynn, sounds good. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
All right, thanks, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media news after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Customer Account Representative. Rent-A-Center, located at 159 Mariano Bishop Boulevard, is in need of a full-time customer account representative to manage assigned client accounts and address customer concerns. Job number 118-53249. Legal Secretary Paralegal. Brian Cunha and Associates, located at 311 Pine Street, is looking for a full-time legal secretary paralegal with experience in personal injury and civil litigation. Job number 118-55024. Maintenance Worker, Stepping Stone, located at 542 North Main Street, is looking for a full-time maintenance worker to perform a variety of duties involving overseeing the general maintenance of the agency buildings and grounds. Job number 118-47023. Bay Cove Human Services, located at 49 Hillside Street, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Emergency Services Mental Health Counselor, job number 118-54335. Emergency Services Licensed Clinician, job number 118-45760. Family Service Association, located at 101 Rock Street, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Clerical Assistant, job number 118-58742. Case Manager, job number 118-58042. For more information on these or other positions, visit masshiredjobquest.detma.org or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa gave his annual State of the City address in front of a packed City Council chamber room this Tuesday night. Here's a portion of his opening and closing remarks, courtesy of FRG-TV.
And as we enter the 2020 budget cycle, I want every citizen and business to know that the Correa administration remains completely focused on providing you, the citizen, the renter, the veteran, the family, the child, and the business owner, with the city services that you have asked for and the city services that you deserve. You elected me to serve as your mayor in hopes that the programs that are important to you would be expanded and the fees and expenses that burden you would be eliminated. You asked me to eliminate the $120 trash fee, and we did it. You asked me to eliminate the purple bag program, and we did it. You asked for better city services and a commitment to fiscal stability and responsibility, and that's what this administration has delivered and continues to deliver each and every day with a laser focus to provide you services that you deserve and need. And tonight, once again, I am thrilled to report to every citizen and the business community of Fall River that the state of our city is strong and getting stronger. To this end, I reaffirm my sincere desire to cooperate with all elected officials, and most of all, our City Council and School Committee. My door is open to all of you. Please participate with me in a constructive manner to advance the interests of the city and its people. For my part, I will make a genuine effort to build trust and to be inclusive. There is no doubt that the city has progressed over the last 3 years, and I'm excited about the future of our beautiful city. This is just the beginning, and there is much more to come. I pledge to continue to devote all of my energy to making Fall River great. But I have not done it alone, and I cannot do it alone. I need your support, your help and cooperation. Whatever we do, we must do together. The goals are set. The tools are in place, and the destination is known. Now we must follow the path that this administration has laid out over the last 3 years. So once again, I attest to you, the citizen, the taxpayer, the student, the family, the veteran, the senior, that the state of our city is strong and getting stronger. Thank you. God bless all of you. Thank you. God bless the city of Fall River. Have a great night. Thank you.
Early this week, vandals tipped over gravestones and wrote anti-Semitic messages on over 50 headstones at Fall River's Hebrew Cemetery. Police are investigating the incident as a hate crime and have asked the FBI to look into pursuing federal charges. Ron Weisberger, director at the Holocaust Center at Bristol Community College, says the vandalism sends a disturbing message, but also allows for an opportunity to educate.
We read about it elsewhere, right? You know, terrible things or whatever, but it's somewhere else. And here it's home in Fall River. And so we need to take action at our own home to make sure that people understand the dangers of this type of action and what it's, what it stands for and how we can combat it. I think what happened here in Fall River maybe is symptomatic of what's happening all over, that there are people who are fearful of what they see as the strangers, different people, and the reaction is to try to push against them in the extreme way is to actually murder them, as we've seen, but even to desecrate a cemetery, that's a real symbol. So I think, and sadly, we've gotten bad messages from the top, from the president of the country, has not helped. So I think people feel more emboldened. So we seem to be going through this cycle. I don't know if it's circular or not. That is, circular always means, well, it comes and then it goes. Hopefully we're going to be able to, this will go. One thing you can do is you can try to talk to people who are different than you. And it's not always easy, but get involved in conversations. There is an attempt to have interfaith discussions, inter-ethnic, so talk to people, because when you know people, more or less, that really eliminates some of the fear and the hatred, because it's hard to hate somebody that you know. So that would be one thing. Again, take advantage of whatever is out there to meet people on a one-to-one basis or in groups, but also go to programs, do reading. I know that's not only, there are a lot of stuff in social media that is really negative, but there's also positive things. Listen to podcasts and whatever. But I think you need to talk to people who know what they're doing, not people who, for whatever reasons are carrying some sort of grudge.
Bristol's Holocaust Center sponsors activities year-round to educate students and the community at large about the issues around genocide and how we as individuals can strive to be more respectful to one another. You can find out more about the Holocaust Center at the Bristol Community College website. Bristol Community College has signed a memorandum of understanding with an offshore wind company that will allow Bristol to provide training in the wind industry at its New Bedford campus.
Today, we are announcing a memorandum of understanding that enables Bristol to train technicians and other middle-skill workers with the complete set of technical, health, safety, and environmental skills required for successful careers in the U.S. offshore wind industry. JDR Cables is a global pioneer and world leader in providing products and services to bring power and control to renewable energy systems. We are so honored to be signing an MOU with them here in New Bedford, Massachusetts. JDR's vision is to be the trusted partner, and we are thankful that they have put their trust in us as a training partner. JDR and Bristol share a common commitment to the goals of developing a better understanding of the workforce requirements associated with the emerging offshore wind industry sector. We also share a commitment to deepening the understanding of offshore wind and its opportunities for teaching, training, research, and advancing the connections between industry, organized labor, and the Commonwealth's K through 16 system. This is an important step forward for Bristol and for the entire region, particularly for the port facilities in New Bedford, Fall River, and Somerset.
Local academic leaders attended an early childhood education summit held last week at Bristol Community College's Fall River campus. Joanne Sprague, executive director of the Greater Fall River Children's Museum, helped organize the day-long event and served as moderator, introducing experts in the field at the start of a roundtable discussion.
I recently retired after a 45-year career in early childhood at the Boston Children's Museum. I have been a lifelong early childhood educator. That's been my work since the beginning. I knew when I was in kindergarten that I was going to become an early childhood teacher, and that has been my work. I came to the work that we're talking about today through what I would consider a funny kind of side door. I started off as a classroom teacher and then got recruited to go and work at the Children's Museum at a time when people were beginning to understand the value of early education and care, and were looking for more training for educators. So I got out of a classroom and began to work in an environment that really didn't even see early childhood as part of its goal.
I was invited here to talk about the early care and education workforce today. This is a large workforce that teaches and interacts and nurtures and plays with children during their most influential and formative years. So this morning we watched that video clip that really highlighted the importance of interactions and relationships, and that children's brain development and all their learning happens in the context of those relationships. So the people that they're spending time with when they're in their early care and education childcare settings, sometimes 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, this is a really influential workforce. We all know that the proven benefits of early education only accrue when children are served in high-quality settings. Yet there is so much untapped talent and expertise among early educators, but almost no systematic effort and no infrastructure to develop the leadership of early educators and to support their capacity to lead and to be in charge of improving quality. So this is where my passion comes from, and as a former early educator myself for 20 years, I launched our Institute for Early Education Leadership and Innovation at UMass Boston.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Trisha. Trisha is a 4-year-old Staffordshire Terrier. She is extremely food motivated. She has, good girl, a lot of training by her previous owner. Very, very intelligent girl. She gets along with other dogs. She's extremely laid back. She really enjoys long walks. Trisha would do best in a home where they would keep training her and working with her, as she really likes to work and likes to work for her food, as in pleasing her owner too. If you want to come and meet this beautiful girl, come on down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Mass. at Forever Paws. Definitely won't be disappointed. So come meet Trisha.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Harvey. Harvey here, he's a senior gentleman, pretty senior in fact. He's at 15 years and 8 months, so he's kind of an old guy to be here at the shelter. And as you can tell, he's just kind of a gentle old man. He loves some attention. He's just kind of leaning right here into my hand right now. So if you're looking for kind of a milder cat, kind of somebody that you can spend a cold winter's night curled up on the couch with, he would be a good option for you. So if you want to come down and meet Harvey, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Bristol Community College President Dr. Laura Douglas spoke at an event this month designed to highlight the services offered at the college's Women's Center located at the Ellsbury Street campus.
Our new Women's Center is located in a recently renovated space with dedicated resources and programming that address the needs of the whole person. I want to make it very clear that the Women's Center is for everyone, and it is our goal to promote gender equality, respect, and self-esteem for all of our students. There is a very special focus, however, on the academic, social, emotional, and personal development needs, as well as the health and safety concerns of our women students. Although we do see progress, for example, awareness that has come from the #MeToo movement, and a record number of women being elected to Congress, the highest percentage ever in U.S. history, the work we do regarding women's and gender equity continues to be necessary. We can't do it alone. We need all of you to join us and assist us on an ongoing basis. We need you to help us to find ways to reduce the barriers for women by working together.
At the Women's Center this week, 6th Bristol District State Representative Carol Fiola told inspirational stories to encourage women to strive for leadership positions, like when she did when she ran for the Governor's Council post in 2000.
I said, what the heck is Governor's Council? It was in the newspaper column, in the Boston newspaper. They were making, they were criticizing it, and there's only 8 of them in the state. And I went, I knew I had been asked by people, because we women, let me just go to that. Women don't say one day, oh God, I'm great, and I am going to, I've got these great skills, and I am going to run for state rep, Governor's Council, mayor. Guess what happens to we women? Somebody comes over to me, you should run for city, you should run for something. And we go, really, you think so? Sure, look at you, you can do that. I don't know, I'm not sure. Guys, and I'm not picking on you guys in here, tomorrow somebody else, you'll go like this, I think I'm going to be the mayor. I think I'm going to be the state rep. I'm just going to run. It doesn't even faze you whether you have we're like this. Well, what about those experiences, and what about this? And I really don't know about that, and I don't have enough information about this topic. That doesn't faze you. Women, and that's been proven true. I'll just leave it as that. There's statistics and studies showing that we're like, until somebody's going to ask you like 7 times before you run for something. I don't know enough about it. I read about it. I looked at it. I went up to Boston. I sat in some meetings. They thought I was, who's this woman coming into these meetings paying attention? Nobody does that. They just run. No, I went up there, and I'll never forget, they're like, afterward, when I was successful and I did get elected, 5 elections later, because it was 2-year term, many opponents along the way, and I won 5 2-year terms.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays, and online, check us out 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.